Denny, we'll turn it over to you to show us a live look at where that hurricane is sitting right now.
So still off the coastline a little ways, but even though it's, we'd say over 100 miles, the eye of the storm, you know, theoretically about 100, well, more than 100 miles off the coastline, we're seeing those outer bands sweep around, and we'll kind of show you the radar imagery right now to show you the impacts that are already being felt there this morning. Again, we've shown you pictures, live shots throughout the newscast from our sister station down there, who are kind of right in smack in the middle of this, and certainly they're seeing the impacts. Very heavy rains, winds already this morning, and again, it's just going to continue to get worse. So Harvey, we'll give you a look. 110 mile an hour winds right now sustained. Gusts are higher. It's moving to the northwest at 10 miles an hour, so a slow mover, churning, just kind of taking its time, and that's why you get those very heavy rains kind of soaking the areas. Now, this is expected to make landfall later today, likely tonight into very early tomorrow morning. By then, it is expected to be a Category 3 hurricane. Category 3 hurricane, considered a major storm, comes into classification when you have 111 mile an hour winds sustained. So notice how close we are to that designation already this morning. So I do expect Category 3 status to become a thing here likely over the next several hours or so. And then as this thing barrels inland, it will slam the middle Texas coastline there, Corpus Christi, some of those areas right along the coast, going to be right smack in the center of it. So of course we have hurricane warnings in effect for the areas here in red. We have tropical storm warnings for the areas in your screen on orange. And again, you can just kind of see how mesmerizing it is as this thing swirls closer to the shore, but again, bringing plenty of devastation already this morning. Storm surge is going to be one concern. We are talking about tropical storm force winds and rains as early as late this morning into early this afternoon. So here's kind of a look at the projected rainfall totals over the next couple of days. Things are of course going to be worse in these coastal areas, but as this thing tracks inland, yes, it's going to stay strong, but then it's going to weaken and sit planted over southeast Texas and some of these inland areas. So overall, in some of the harder hit spots, we're looking at 15 to 25 inches, locally up to 35. All of South Texas, as you spread out toward the Louisiana border, are going to see 7 to 15 inches of rain possibly, and then up to 7 looking out into the Mississippi Valley. But those totals take us through Wednesday of next week. So we are talking about a storm that is going to deliver torrential rainfall, damaging winds, and those storm surges for potentially several days. So this is not a 1 or 2 day event. We are talking about several days of devastating weather in that area. So of course, something we'll be monitoring closely for you through the weekend and into next week. For us, well, we had our own little storm of our own last night, but it wasn't too much compared to what they are dealing with down there. Severe thunderstorm rolled through Boise, and it left behind about a half an inch of rain in about 45 minutes in one spot in Ada County. Out at the airport, only picking up about 14/100ths of an inch of rain. So not too much to show for it other than a 58 mile an hour wind gust. So we did have a strong little push of precipitation moving through. Today, much quieter to start out your Friday, 62 degrees. Winds are calm. Things are pretty simple with our forecast from here on out heading into the weekend. Nothing to show you on the satellite radar. What you see is what you get. We are going to be dealing with a little bit of that smoke and haze continuing to stream in from the southwest today. We'll get a little bit more of a westerly flow headed into tomorrow, and then a ridge of high pressure builds in. But because we aren't going to get a pattern change, we are going to allow that smoke and haze to settle right back in and stick around. So Futurecast won't show that, but otherwise nothing to show you here. Again, what you see is what you get. Ridge of high pressure means hot, dry conditions, and that's exactly what's going to happen. We're cranking up the heat heading into the weekend. So starting off in the low 90s today, and then we'll start to notice the increase tomorrow. A few areas of smoke out there, otherwise plenty of sunshine. Low 90s across the board for us here in southwest Idaho. 92 out in Ontario. Caldwell looking at 91 this afternoon. 82 in McCall. So a beautiful day to hit the lake if you're headed up to the mountains. Probably going to be a popular spot this weekend with these toasty temps down here in the valley. Tomorrow, if you're headed to the farmers market, still going on, should feel comfortable early in the day. I do think as we get into the afternoon, the temps will crank up pretty quickly. Your high of 95, but I still think we should only be at about the mid 80s by the time noon, 1 o'clock rolls around. So comfortable morning out there at the farmers market, and then from there things just get toasty. So we're actually sizzling hot by Sunday and Monday. Temps very close to 100 degrees. It may, believe it or not, be the smoke that actually helps to keep us away from that triple-digit mark, but we're going to come awfully close to the century mark in late August, which, by the way, I did look is not